Guys, I have something to admit. I have something to say. I don't want to say it.
Twomad was a funny, energetic gamer who made people laugh while playing video games. His fans loved him because he brought joy and excitement to their screens. But one day, everything changed when Twomad suddenly disappeared, leaving everyone shocked and heartbroken. What happened to Twomad? And why did his incredible journey come to an unexpected end? Keep watching to discover the surprising truth behind this online star's mysterious passing. What happened to Twomad? His real name, Mudia Sedik, had started to be well known in the gaming and streaming domains. His journey from a teenage Toronto gamer to an online sensation is an incredible story of drive and creativity. Twomad has established himself over the years with his humorous gaming material and forging a unique niche inside the internet community. His path is a shining illustration of how sincerity, inventiveness, and tenacity can produce success in the internet era. Twomad's entire life was significant in determining his career and personality. Growing up in Toronto, a cosmopolitan and varied city, he was surrounded by many influences. Toronto gave Twomad a different viewpoint that he would later use on his internet presence. With its melting pot of cultures and continual exposure to the newest trends, Twomad showed a love of video games and humor. He frequently combined the two in ways that delighted his friends and relatives. Eventually, his future in video creation would be built on this mix of gaming and comedy. Like many other teenagers, Twomad spent several hours in front of a screen, lost in different virtual worlds. His inherent gift to entertain others nonetheless distinguished him. Twomad could constantly make those around him laugh with his clever remarks or unforced jokes. He started seeing the possibility of making his love his career as the gaming community kept expanding. Inspired by other content producers who had effectively developed their companies, Twomad chose to follow his aspirations of being prominent in the internet space. Though it took time, Twomad's ascent to popularity was based on consistent creative and laborious effort. His trip started with the opening of his YouTube page, where he first posted gaming footage. Twomad struggled to break out in a saturated industry like many would-be artists. His sense of humor set his material apart. Twomad included comic comments that spoke to his audience in addition to concentrating on gameplay. His combination of gaming and entertainment helped him to stand out from the others right away. Twomad's career had one key event when he ventured into live broadcasting on sites like Twitch. Live streaming gave him a real-time connection with his audience, enhancing the participatory experience. Twomad's sincere and natural style captivated viewers and gave his streams a more accurate and exciting quality. Whether he was cracking jokes, responding to gameplay, or engaging with followers, Twomad's demeanor came through in every stream. The diversity of material he created expanded along with his readership. His meme-worthy sketches and humorous analysis of many internet phenomena helped him establish himself even more in the online community. Twomad kept relevant and expanded his audience by being flexible and evolving with the digital terrain. His popularity on Twitch and YouTube opened doors to fresh prospects, confirming his importance in the streaming and gaming sectors. Unquestionably, Twomad has changed the gaming and streaming communities, combining humor with gameplay in a way that enthralled viewers. He brought a novel prospect in how gaming material might be shown. His strategy not only delighted his audience, but also challenged other content producers to give personality and entertainment value priority in their work. His material was a reminder that, fundamentally, gaming is supposed to be fun, and he reflected that in every video and stream. The way Twomad transformed the view of gaming content is among the most essential features of his industry-contributing efforts. Gaming streams and videos historically concentrated on talented athletes or serious, strategic-driven material. Twomad challenged conventions by stressing fun before ability. Though he was a good gamer, people kept returning because of his humor and audience engagement. His original method also encouraged other producers to investigate several approaches involving their viewers, diversifying the range of content accessible in the gaming community. Besides his achievements, Twomad has worked with other well-known artists and attended several gaming events. These joint ventures have allowed him to increase his influence in the field and validate his reach. Using cooperative initiatives and live events, he had created a feeling of community inside the gaming industry, demonstrating content development's collaborative and competitive aspects. Although Twomad presents himself as vibrant and enthusiastic, his personal life shows a more complex person behind the camera. Despite his active and sometimes larger-than-life internet presence, Twomad is well known for keeping his personal life secret. Although many artists provide personal information about their lives to their fans, Twomad has been able to balance keeping his privacy with developing a relationship with his audience. Though he usually keeps some parts of his personal life hidden from the public view, he occasionally shows fans glimpses of his life away from gaming, therefore revealing some of his interests and hobbies. Twomad's online persona is particularly intriguing because of its volatility. His reputation for spontaneity and unscripted moments has helped to give his material unexpected appeal. His ability to alternate between outrageous comedy and serious commentary has attracted a devoted following that values his genuineness. While some artists could depend mostly on scheduled or highly edited material, Twomad excels in the anarchy of live engagement where anything can happen. Simultaneously, Twomad's success is much dependent on his bond with his supporters. He interacts with his followers on social media, answers comments, leads debates, and even includes fan comments in his material. This degree of connection has enabled him to build a strong feeling of community whereby his supporters feel as though they are on his journey. Twomad developed such a devoted following using this relationship with his audience. From his early Toronto years to his present streaming hit, Twomad's journey is one of development, ingenuity, and grit. From a driven teenage gamer to a significant player in the gaming and streaming communities, Twomad's path is evidence of his inventiveness, tenacity, and genuineness. In addition to entertaining millions of people, his ability to mix comedy with gaming material redefines his success as a video producer. Twomad has created a special place for himself in the realm of online entertainment by stretching the limits of conventional gaming material and welcoming the flux of live broadcasting. There's little doubt that Twomad's contributions will have a long-lasting effect on the gaming industry as he develops his brand and influence. He has distinguished himself from his colleagues with his lively presence, real-time engagement with fans, and commitment to producing material that is both engaging and fun. Twomad's success story inspires both artists and viewers since it shows that the love of gaming can be a successful career, given passion and creativity. The circumstances of his passing. One significant event that had a considerable influence on the larger internet community and Twomad's loyal fans was his sad and untimely demise, particularly in the gaming and streaming spheres where he had established his name. His death rocked the digital sphere. The details of his death evolved from great sympathy among his supporters, who understood his significant impact on their lives and the larger internet community. Many people struggle to understand the untimely death of someone who offered so much happiness and pleasure because of Twomad's larger-than-life attitude and comic wit. His friends, family, and fans were in an excellent state of loss. Initial investigations revealed that Twomad had been discovered unconscious at his house, and despite best attempts by emergency services, he could not be awakened. There was no apparent reason for his death in the hours after the news, leaving followers perplexed and worried. Online speculation started to gather as supporters yearned to know what had happened to their cherished content producer. The necessity of clarification became more evident as the news traveled, and his family, friends, and authorities needed to react. The loss was causing havoc in the online community, and even as the public demanded more information, many close to Twomad sought private means of healing. The death of Twomad profoundly touched the whole gaming and streaming industry, where he had developed a sizable following, not only personally for his friends and family. Official comments from Twomad's family following his death gave some much-needed solace and clarity. The family expressed great grief and thanked supporters for their outpouring of love and encouragement. They discussed Twomad's great love of his work and his delight in entertaining people throughout the globe. They also sought privacy concurrently as they negotiated the terrible loss of a son, friend, and brother. The sincere statement served as a reminder to supporters that behind the internet identity was someone with loved ones currently struggling with a significant loss. As supporters and fellow artists conveyed their sympathies at his family's comment, it was greeted with great compassion. Those who knew Twomad most talked about his kindness, compassion, and indisputable love of making others laugh. Reflecting on Twomad's original brand of humor and his excellent impact on the people around him, friends and colleagues from the gaming and streaming spheres told personal anecdotes. Authorities also handled the matter properly, giving the public some understanding but also respecting the privacy of the family. Their confirmation of the absence of suspected foul play to help alleviate some wild internet speculation. Authorities made sure the emphasis stayed on respecting Twomad's life and legacy instead of sensationalizing his death by distributing this material. Clarity from family and authorities helped to focus on honoring Twomad's life and the tremendous influence he had on the gaming and streaming community. People responded quickly and emotionally to Twomad's passing. Globally minded fans turned to social media to share their memories of the content producer and the show of their sadness, with people sharing films, artwork, and anecdotes emphasizing the happiness had given to their lives. Hashtags in his honor rapidly trended. Many of his fans, who had seen him for years, found comfort in sharing these events, therefore generating a digital memorial honoring his legacy. For many of his fans who had turned to Twomad's material over the years for pleasure, comfort, and humor, the loss was quite personal. From all around the internet, tributes arrived, supporters planned live streams in his honor and charitable events. These gatherings honored Twomad's life and generated funds for issues he was passionate about, therefore highlighting the close relationship he had shared with his audience. Twomad's impact went much beyond games. His capacity to establish a human connection with individuals had made a lasting impression. The media reaction was similarly noteworthy. News sources all over reported Twomad's death, paying honors to his career and considering his services to the gaming business. Features on his ascent to popularity, interviews with fellow content makers, and retrospectives on his finest work showed the amazing trip a young man who had grown up to be a worldwide sensation had traveled. Twomad stood out from others because of his ability to combine gaming with humor. The media was fast to recognize the unique niche he had created for himself. Within the streaming community, colleagues and friends also planned memorial events so that followers may engage in group grief while honoring their legacy. These streams generated money for charity groups, therefore extending the good influence Twomad had always aimed to produce. His death turned into a chance for the community to gather and consider the happiness he offered to so many. It was evident as the tributes went on that the continuous celebration of Twomad's life and art would carry on his legacy. It was clear as the first shock of Twomad's death started to fade that his impact would be felt for years to come. Twomad had not only been a gifted content producer, but also a creative innovator in the way comedy and gaming may be combined to appeal to fresh audiences. His original method has motivated many other artists to investigate fresh approaches to interacting with their audience. His legacy still shapes the direction of internet entertainment. Especially in the gaming and streaming sectors, Twomad's passing also spurred significant discussion on mental health. His death inspired a larger conversation about self-care and support for content creators, since it reminded supporters and other artists of the demands that sometimes occupy public life. Twomad's legacy is being paid tribute to constantly via fan initiatives, charitable events, and continuous tribute streams. In the towns he visited, his impact is still significant, so both peers and supporters will treasure his legacy. New secrets revealed. More profound research into Twomad's life revealed previously secret facts as the world adjusted to the news of his death. These disclosures helped to clarify his challenges, the projects he was working on, his relationships, and his financial affairs. Twomad's vivid internet presence sometimes covered his inner conflicts. It became abundantly evident in his wake that he had battled major mental health problems. Friends and relatives revealed that Twomad had been forthright about his continuous struggle with anxiety and despair. These personal challenges were a continual source of difficulty for him, even with his ostensibly happy and enjoyable online persona. The demands of public scrutiny and celebrity brought layers of pressure that aggravated his mental problems. Twomad has often talked about how difficult it was to control his public image while juggling personal issues. He was under tremendous pressure to keep a constant degree of involvement and innovation, and he suffered much from his fear of failing or disappointing his supporters. These disclosures brought attention to the sometimes disregarded mental health issues many artists deal with. Although Twomad's struggles were quite poignant, his career was defined by interesting, unfulfilled ideas. Twomad was fully engaged in various innovative ventures before his death. Among these was a fresh game series he had been feverishly developing, with features of storyline and interactive gameplay exclusive to his brand. The series was meant to challenge the limits of gaming material. His close associates communicated specifics about this endeavor, which conveyed both enthusiasm and grief over the incomplete status of it. Apart from this line of work, Twomad was also investigating several businesses outside of entertainment. He had started developing a line of products meant to capture his style and involve his fans in fresh directions. Plans for a podcast which sought to explore subjects outside gaming, including pop culture, mental health, and industry highlights. had also been under development. These projects were meant to increase his impact and enable a closer connection with his audience. When the emphasis turned to his artistic endeavors, understanding his relationships exposed a vital support system influencing his life and profession. In both his personal and professional life, Twomad's connection with colleagues, friends, and family were pillar stones. His family gave him constant support and served as a stabilizing agent for him during both good times and bad. Many times referred to as his rock, they provided a grounding viewpoint and encouragement among the tumult of public life. Furthermore, meaningful were his friendships in the gaming sector. Colleagues talked of Twomad's real connections with people in the field, openness and teamwork attitude. Many told tales of how he helped up-and-coming artists, therefore fostering a feeling of camaraderie and respect among us. These partnerships affected his profession as well as gave him the personal support required to negotiate the demands of a celebrity. Apart from these personal ties, the way Twomad's legal and financial matters were handled became crucial in maintaining his legacy and guaranteeing that his intentions were followed. Following Twomad's death, a thorough picture of his financial situation and legal affairs surfaced. Twomad had handled his money with a degree of sophistication fit for his commercial sense. From his brand to possible future initiatives, his financial portfolio consisted of stakes in several companies. His sensible financial planning has been well known for guaranteeing proper management of his assets and protection of his business interests. Legal concerns over his estate included several facets, including intellectual property rights, unresolved contracts, and asset distribution. Respecting his intention and handling his affairs with the highest integrity meant considerable thought during the estate settling procedure. Tasked with negotiating this complexity to honor his legacy and manage pragmatic obligations, his family and legal counsel were. For Twomad's estate, this meant choices about his unfinished business and continuous ventures. Talks concerning about how to maintain and maybe finish his artistic work guaranteed that his contribution to the gaming community would always be valued. His family had to balance the financial and personal elements of estate management with a continuation of his legacy. The gaming and content development community suffered a great vacuum when Twomad passed. Renowned for his quirky and humorous demeanor, his untimely demise had a profound impact on his supporters and contemporaries. Many of whom had seen him rise from a small-time streamer to a worldwide sensation. His influence on these areas was felt not just shortly, but also spurred contemplation on his long-lasting effect on the section overall. When word of Twomad's death leaked, his supporters responded overwhelmingly, immediately. Tributes, recollections, and sympathies from supporters all around turned social media sites ablaze. Many of Twomad's devoted followers had followed him for years and connected intimately to him via his streams and videos. For their supporters, Twomad was more than simply entertainment. He was a daily source of laughter and delight. People from many walks of life connected firmly with his natural and unusual humor, and many praised his ability to make gaming lighthearted and enjoyable. Online, fellow streamers and game influencers also showed their loss. Many of them related tales of working with Twomad or finding inspiration in his work. From streamers to esport players to famous personalities in the gaming industry turned to Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to convey sincere thoughts. These honors frequently centered on Twomad's generosity, inventiveness, and how he had cleared the path for a fresh, objective, new streaming style combining gaming with comedy. The community started to gather not only words but also via significant tributes and memorials as the globe worked through this loss. Many tributes and monuments were planned to honor Twomad's memory in the weeks following his death. Celebrating his life, fans produced video montages, music, and artwork, including footage of his most memorable and hilarious moments. Reflecting the significant impact he had on his audience, these works rapidly went through social media channels, particularly on Reddit and Discord. Online groups created unique channels where users may share their best Twomad memories and communicate their loss. These venues gave his fans a forum to honor the life of their beloved content producer, so that they can remember and grieve together. In addition, Twomad's fellow game influencers and content creators planned charitable events in his honor. Several well-known streamers staged live events with donations to causes Twomad had supported over his life, mental health awareness, and support for underprivileged young people interested in gaming, among other things. These gatherings not only honored Twomad's legacy but also acted as a reminder of his beliefs and the community-driven character of his work. His legacy was being carried on in a relevant and long-lasting manner. These sincere honors showed the significant, long-lasting influence Twomad had on the business, not only of loss. The impact of Twomad went much beyond his following. His method of content creation had a lasting impact on the gaming business, particularly in how streamers and video creators could mix humor, gameplay, and real-time contact with their audience. Many gaming outlets before Twomad concentrated mainly on technical ability and gameplay. By giving personality, spontaneity, and comedy top priority, Twomad broke the convention and demonstrated how entertainment might result from a creator's capacity to connect with their audience. The way streamers communicate with their fans is among the most essential effects Twomad produced. Emphasizing the need to interact with the audience in real time, he sometimes immediately included viewers' comments and suggestions into his material. Other streamers have now embraced the feeling of community and inclusivity that this strategy encouraged, often pushing the envelope of conventional gaming videos with his erratic skits and amusing interludes. He was also not hesitant to take risks with his material. Twomad's approach inspired other artists to play about with their material and show that personality may be just as crucial as technical ability. Twomad's inventions encouraged a whole generation of producers to follow in his footsteps, therefore altering not only the approach of content creation but also the style. Beyond personal creators, Twomad's impact on a more significant gaming business is notable. Rising variety streamers who combine gameplay with other kinds of entertainment, including storytelling, humor, and audience interaction, owe much to his comic approach and focus on personality. Twomad's success in deftly combining these components helped explain growth of these diverse content makers. He set the path for a new generation of artists seeking to entertain, inspire, and involve their audiences in original ways rather than only games. Furthermore, Twomad's support of mental health consciousness among gamers has a long-lasting effect. Though he battled with mental health issues, he frequently spoke freely on these problems from his platforms. For many of his admirers, who battled anxiety and despair, he was a relevant person, since he was ready to disclose his challenges. This openness helped other developers be more upfront about their difficulties. It encouraged fans to get help when required, fostering a larger conversation about mental health inside the gaming business. Twomad's ongoing impact on the gaming community and content creation reveals the degree of his legacy that will be felt for years to come. Legacy and reflection. Along with leaving a vacuum in the hearts of his supporters and the gaming community, Twomad's premature death spurred serious contemplation on his life contributions and ongoing influence on the realm of digital content creation. His original approach to entertainment has molded people's impressions of him and his work, his capacity to make others laugh, and his resolve to be accurate in public view. The contributions of Twomad will be compiled in this part, together with a discussion of how opinions of his work have changed since his death and a consideration of what his legacy will imply for subsequent generations of artists. The contribution of Twomad will be compiled in this part, together with a discussion of how opinions of his work have changed since his death and a consideration of what his legacy will imply for subsequent generations of artists. Twomad was a trendsetter that opened the path for a fresh kind of entertainment inside the gaming and streaming environments, not only other content producers. One of his most well-known accomplishments was how he combined gaming with a comedy to produce a unique concoction of meme, spontaneous comedy, and games that captivated his audience in ways few others could have. Millions of people found his erratic and sometimes chaotic style of content appealing, connecting with his genuine personality and great comedic timing. They gave his streams which distinguished him a sense of erratic nature. From YouTube to Twitch, Twomad's influence was felt on the broad spectrum. Whether he was performing outrageous skits or playing video games in his unusual manner, he also embraced the genuine raw side of video creation, demonstrating to his audience that success could come without excellent production standards. It was about sincerity, and Twomad was fundamental to his core. Twomad was not hesitant to cover subjects other content producers might choose to avoid. His criticisms frequently veered into social concerns, and his comedy occasionally parodied the ridiculousness of internet and meme culture. From the inside jokes to the raw, unscripted events that gave his material authenticity, he developed his platform not just on the back of his comedic genius, but also by making his audience feel included in the trip. As supporters considered his life, it became evident that Twomad's impact transcended mere amusement. His death changed people's perceptions of his work in very significant ways. When Twomad passed, his work was seen differently by his supporters as well as the more significant business. Many considered him a light-hearted, humorous person who played games in a comedic way before his passing. Deeper elements of his personality and achievements started to show. Though following his death, viewers began to consider his difficulties in his personal life, particularly about his fights with mental health and how those hardships might have affected his work. Behind the laughs, it became evident that someone was utilizing his position to negotiate personal difficulties and the demands of celebrity. This change in perspective also helped people to view Twomad as a more diverse and sophisticated person. Though surface-level humorous, his works frequently subtly questioned the ridiculousness of online culture, celebrity, and the gaming industry itself. Fans discovered fresh respect for the way he utilized humor to address complex subjects. How his persona presented a critique of the very business he helped establish as they watched his earlier videos and streams. The gaming and streaming communities also started to see the long-lasting effects Twomad had on the production and consumption of content. Others learned that imagination had no boundaries when he was ready to challenge constraints and combine several entertainment genres. This analysis of his work demonstrated that Twomad had altered the terrain of online content creation in ways that are now affecting the next generation of producers. This fresh knowledge of Twomad's contributions posed significant issues regarding what his legacy would entail for following artists and how they would carry on his influence. Future generations of creators in the gaming community as well as outside will be permanently influenced by Twomad. His ability to demonstrate that content creation does not have to adhere to conventional forms or industry standards is among the most significant facets of his legacy. Embracing the messiness of internet content, he was a forerunner showing the genuineness, spontaneity, and humor may be more interesting than polished, scripted presentations. Future artists would probably carry forward this departure from established standards, stretching the possibilities of entertainment. Furthermore, Twomad's legacy is the need for mental health awareness for the production of works. His readiness to share his challenges has opened the path for subsequent generations of influencers to be more honest about their personal life, shattering the ideal of perfection sometimes associated with public life. Future generations of artists might feel more at ease talking about their difficulties, resulting in a better, more encouraging environment inside the entertainment business. The way content creators connect with their viewers will also bear the mark of Twomad. His direct approach of including fans in the production of his material established a new benchmark for interaction on streaming. Future artists are probably going to keep following this trend of combining audience involvement with content itself, therefore strengthening the dynamic and cooperative interaction with their fans. Future entertainment platforms will probably feature the fourth wall, which Twomad knocked down, where viewers are active participants rather than merely observers. His influence would also affect the type of material that gains traction on these sites. Twomad was evidence that you could leave a lasting impression without a large crew or costly tools. By highlighting the value of authenticity and personality, he established a model for following artists to concentrate on authenticity and relevance instead of thriving for shiny perfection. Future artists searching Twomad's career for inspiration will discover a legacy anchored on sincerity, boundary-pushing originality, and close relationship with followers. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed learning about Twomad, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories. Click on the following video to keep discovering the world of your favorite online stars.